record. It is July 11th, 2019. This is Judge Wish, Courtroom 1, Session 1. May I have the parties announce themselves for the record?
Good morning, Edith Bush for the Office of State Attorney.
Good morning, Your Honor. Cody Jordan with the Public Defender's Office, accompanied by PD intern.
She's just known as PD intern?
Would she like to announce her name for the record? I don't believe she's going to be stating anything on the record, Your Honor.
We've met. All right, please tell me your name, sir.
My name is Marlon Sequeira. That's my name.
Okay, do we know what happened to Mr. White? He refused, Your Honor. Okay, we'll deal with him at the end.
Can I ask you a question?
Hold on, let me go first, okay? All right, Mr. Sequeira, you're here in 2019 MO 1278AO, and you were arrested for an open container violation. There is probable cause for the arrest. I am gonna appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you. And if you have any questions, I would direct them to Mr. Jordan.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
then if he can't answer it, I can try and help.
Your Honor, we're just curious whether the state has an offer for the open container.
It would be an adjudication, 5 days, 3 days, I believe it is, credit time served.
Okay. Definitely. I appreciate that, ma'am.
Okay, I won't take any action on the out-on release or open case, okay? Just make sure if you have any upcoming, it looks like you have an upcoming court date on July 30th.
I do. Okay.
So, he's represented by the PD in that case, so you may want to advise him of any court dates so he doesn't miss them.
Yes, Your Honor.
And I do have to impose court costs, okay?
Okay.
And Your Honor, this will be a plea of no contest.
Okay.
So I got them all.
Sir? You have another open case. You need to return court.
Thank you. All right, Mr. Sequeira, I'm showing you this plea form. Is this your signature at the bottom?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand everything contained within the plea form?
Oh, yes, ma'am.
Do you understand all the rights you're giving up by entering the plea?
Yes, ma'am. I do.
Are you on probation anywhere?
Nah, I ain't afraid.
No probation? Okay. You understand if you're not a U.S. citizen, the plea will subject you to deportation?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I do find a factual basis based on the affidavit in the court file to accept your plea. I'm going to adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 5 days in the Orange County Jail with credit for 3 days time served. I do have to impose court costs. I'm going to order that you pay those by July 11th, 2020. Gives you a year to pay them off.
Yes, ma'am.
If you want to appeal the judgment and sentence of the court, you must do so in writing within 30 days. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed for you. All right?
Yeah,
Good luck to you. Don't miss
Thank you,
that
God.
court date, okay?
I won't.
What's your attorney?
All right, bro. God bless you.
Please tell me your name, sir.
David Kenneth Skelly.
All right, Mr. Skelly, you're here in 19 MM 5727AO. You're arrested for trespass on property after warning. I do find probable cause. I'm going to appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you. Was there an offer for Mr. Skelly? Looks like the state, he's out on bond, or out, he was ROR'd, and that case was also filed on in 2019 MM 251AE.
Yes, Your Honor, if I may have just a moment to
Sure.
pull that. The concurrent offer would be an adjudication 10 days and whatever credit time served on both cases. no return to the scene, abide by all trespass warnings, and court costs.
Do you know how much time he has in the other case?
There's 4 on this one and 3 on the previous.
Okay.
Your Honor, after speaking with my client, he does wish to accept the offer and enter plea of no contest as to both cases.
Okay.
How much time would I have to do here?
Thank you. All right, Mr. Skelly, I'm showing you this plea form. Is this your signature at the bottom?
Okay.
Is
Yes,
that-
ma'am.
Okay, did you understand everything that was contained within the plea form?
Yes, ma'am.
You understand all the rights you're giving up by entering the plea?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you on probation anywhere?
No, ma'am.
You understand if you're not a U.S. citizen, the plea will subject you to deportation?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I do find a factual basis in both of the cases based on the affidavits in the court file to accept your plea. And case number 2019 MM 5727AO, I am gonna adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 10 days in the Orange County Jail with credit for the, is it 3 days you said? Oh, in this one? Okay, 4 days in the Orange County Jail. And you're not to return back to 12024 Royal Wolf Lane in Orlando, Campus Crossings. You must abide by all trespass warnings.
Okay.
And I have to impose court costs in that case. And then in 2019 MM 251AE, I'm gonna adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 10 days in the Orange County Jail with credit for 3 days' time served. You're not to return back. I believe it was UCF.
It's,
It
I
was
believe it was,
UCF. Okay, so you can't go back to 12705 Pegasus Drive in Orlando, Florida. Abide by all trespass warnings. You've been trespassed from UCF property. You cannot go back there.
Okay.
And that sentence is gonna run concurrent with 5727. And I do have to impose court costs in that case as well. I'm gonna order that you pay your costs in both cases by July 11th, 2020, okay? Gives you a year to pay them off. If you want to appeal the judgment and sentence of the court, you must do so in writing within 30 days. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed for you. All right, sir, don't go back to those places.
All right, I won't.
All right, please tell me your name, sir.
Kevin Pate,
Mr. Pate, you're here in 2019 CF 9886. AO, you arrested for possession of methamphetamine, neglect of a child, possession of cannabis less than 20 grams, and possession of drug paraphernalia. I do find probable cause. I'm gonna appoint the public defender in that case, as well as in 19 CT 5108, where you were arrested for driving while license suspended. I do find probable cause for that as well. You're not to possess or consume any illegal substances, you're not to drive without a valid license, and you're not to have any contact with the victim in the case. And I'm gonna stay the bond, at 1,000 on the, in 9886 on count 1. Counts 2, 3, and 4 will also stay at 150, 100, and 100. And in 19 CT 5108, again, no valid, don't drive without a valid license, and the bond will stay set at 500. please tell me your name, sir.
John Tyler Paulson, ma'am.
All right, Mr. Paulson, you're here on 19 CF 1441. You were arrested pursuant to a warrant which probable cause was found for failing to register as a transient sexual offender, failing to report within 30 days. Probable cause was found pursuant to the warrant. I'm gonna appoint the public defender. I'm gonna stay the bond at $1,000. You do have reporting requirements,
Yes, ma'am.
okay?
I'm sorry,
All right?
ma'am.
Don't apologize, just make sure that you report as required.
Sir, just want to make you aware that. Thank you, sir. Sometimes people nowadays come back. Okay. Here's some information for you, sir. Thank you.
All right, please tell me your name.
Shane Michael Ludwig.
Okay, do we know what happened to Mr. Saravello?
Cervello is, behavior, Your Honor.
Okay, we'll reset him. All right, Mr. Ludwig, looks like you were seen in 2019 MM 5714AO. That was by me the other day. And then I've been alerted that there's an out on bond, but it's a notice to appear, so
I was in
I don't,
here.
yeah, I don't know why this continues to happen, but, you know, so I'm not taking any action on the notice to appear. It looks like you do have mandatory court appearance, and you have an arraignment on, the 18th of July at 1 PM at 4C. Don't miss that court date. Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
Thank you.
And as to the current case?
It was handled yesterday.
Oh, I
Or
see.
the other day, a couple days ago.
And you-
Tuesday.
and you-
They're holding them on the notice to appear, which
I see.
I'm not sure why. And I'm
Of course, sir. You're going to be able to bond out.
just,
Okay, cool. Thank you. Thank you, Judge.
thank you.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, Mr. Ryan.
Yes, sir.
All right, please tell me your name.
Daniel Abbott.
Mr. Abbott, you're here in 19 CF 9865 AO. You're arrested for introducing contraband into a county facility and possession of methamphetamine. I do find probable cause for those offenses. I'm gonna appoint the public defender's office. You're not to possess any drugs or alcohol or without a valid prescription. I'm gonna stay the bond at $1,000 on count 1 and $150 on count 2 in 19 CF 9864 AO. You're arrested for possession of methamphetamine. Find probable cause. I'm gonna appoint the public defender's office to represent you, not to possess or consume any illegal substances without a valid prescription. And I am gonna stay the bond at 1,000.
Your Honor, could we ask that be treated as a subsidiary offense?
These are two separate offenses, and I'm sure that law enforcement advised him prior to coming into the facility that if he had anything that to turn it over. All right, please tell me your name, sir.
Juan Adorno.
All right, Mr. Adorno, you're here in 19 CF 9882 AO, and you're arrested for trafficking in heroin, more than 4 grams, less than 14 grams, trafficking in fentanyl, 4 grams or more, possession of heroin with intent to sell or deliver, and possession of cocaine with intent to sell or deliver. And I have 2 sentences.
Yes, Your Honor, and the state asks if we can at the very least, recall this at the end of the session.
Sure.
The probable cause documentation is in progress right now.
Okay, and that's fine, and there is a bond correction. I don't know if, Mr.
I saw
Jordan,
the
you
bond.
saw that, so there is a bond correction as to, count one from 50 to 100, okay? So we'll recall this and see if Ms. Bush is able to get the correct, full, complete affidavit, okay?
Yes.
They're missing some information, you're gonna get recalled, right?
All right, please tell me your name, ma'am.
Angela Akey.
All right, Ms. Akey, you're here in 2019 CF 985380. You're arrested for possession of methamphetamine and trespass on property after warning. I do find probable cause. I'm gonna appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you not to possess or consume any illegal substances without a valid prescription. You're not to return back to, looks like 145848 East Colonial Drive. Not to have any contact with anyone at that location. I'm gonna stay the bond at 1,000 on count one. I'm gonna reduce count two to 100.
Does she not qualify for PTR?
It says no. I don't know why.
No, I'm seeing that she has no
It
priors.
says ties not verified, no contacts provided.
If she is able to give contact.
I don't have a problem with or PTR
Or
if
that's yes.
qualifies. I don't have a problem with that, okay? So we can put that in there, but she has to cooperate and give information if,
Thank you, Ryan.
all right, please tell me your name, sir.
Algernon Jamal Baker.
All right, Mr. Baker, you're here in 2019 CF 9871. You're arrested pursuant to a warrant which probable cause was found for petty theft, 2 prior convictions. And I'm gonna appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you. And you're not to return back to the Hobby Lobby. At 2728 East Colonial Drive. You're not to have any contact with any listed victims or witnesses at that location. And the judge set your bond at $20,000. I don't have I see all the listed priors in the warrant for purposes of the charges, but I don't have my face sheet has nothing on it, so I don't know anything about his history other than that. But it looks like he has other cases that he's being held on.
Yes, ma'am.
I can't hear, and I can never hear you.
It's 20, but it's 20 not for me to get out.
You're being held on a case.
I know, but what I'm saying is it,
Right now.
Okay.
If you're being held on
Okay.
a case, you do not involve.
Thank you.
Because otherwise you're not gonna get gained.
And he does have a hold for Manatee County.
Yes.
yes, ma'am.
You gonna finish all these cases before,
All right, please tell me your name, sir.
Christopher DeGilio.
Mr. DeGilio, you're here in 2019 CF 988380. You're arrested for possession of heroin. I do find probable cause. I'm gonna appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you. I'm gonna place you in the pretrial release program. No drugs or alcohol, without a prescription. So make sure that you follow all of their requirements, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
And Your Honor, if we could have a no contact with co-defendant, Mr. Adorno Morales is his co-defendant. Adorno Morales, the one that we just passed for probable cause.
Oh, okay. Is he named even in the affidavit?
And I guess the state knows that because of all of the communication.
Oh, okay,
back
it's
and
just
forth.
not meant, I I didn't know anything about the other case, so no contact with the co-defendant, Mr. Ordorno Morales.
Okay.
Please tell, oh, sorry. All right, please tell me your name, sir.
Anthony Gene Irvin.
All right, Mr. Urban, you're here in 2019 CF 9103. You were arrested pursuant to a warrant which probable cause was found for burglary of a dwelling and principal in the first degree of dealing in stolen property, receiving money from a pawnbroker by false verification, and grand theft third degree. And I'm gonna appoint the public defender's office to represent you. You're not to return back to 339 Pennsylvania Avenue or have any contact with the victim or any witnesses. You're not to return back to the Cash America East Pawn Shop at 2363 West Colonial Drive. And you're not to have any contact with any listed victims or witnesses at that location. Your bonds will stay set on count 1 at 5,000 and I'm gonna stay the bonds, 2,500 on count 2, counts 3 and 4, I'll reduce to 150. Please tell me your name.
Maybe Harold.
Do you know what happened to Mr. Graves?
Mr. Graves refused running.
Okay. Well, we'll just call him at the end as well.
He refused to attend.
Right, I'm gonna call him at the end. I mean, it's a KPS warrant, you know,
Zero.
there's no
And
bond
we're-
on it, there's no point in resetting those.
Yes, you're right, and PD's already been appointed there, and I would waive his
So,
appearance.
we'll do it at the end, cause
Sure.
I'm not gonna slow everybody up.
Absolutely.
Okay, Mr. Harrell, is that your name?
Yes.
Okay. Sir, you're here in 2019 CF 9867 AO. You're arrested for retail theft over 300. I do find probable cause. I'm gonna appoint the public defender's office to represent you. You're not to return back to the Home Depot at 13121 South Orange Blossom Trail. You're not to have any contact with any listed victims or witnesses at that location. Your bond will stay at 1,000. Please tell me your name, ma'am.
Paige Hendrickson.
Ms. Hendrickson, you're here in 2018 CF 14467AO. You were arrested pursuant to a KPS for failing to appear for pretrial conference on April 30th, 2019. The judge set your bond at none in that case. I am going to appoint the public defender's office if they haven't previously been appointed to represent you. And your attorneys can file any appropriate motions with regards to bond. That's Division 16.
No. You need to be, so the judge issued that warrant, that's the judge's business. This judge's.
So when will I receive?
I can't tell you an exact court date, but hopefully soon.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Please tell me your name, sir.
Hakeem Holloway.
Mr. Holloway, you're here in 2019 CF 9887AO. You're arrested for possession of cocaine, possession of drug paraphernalia. I do find probable cause, and I am going to appoint the public defender's office to represent you not to possess or consume any illegal substances without a valid prescription. Stay the bond at 1,000 on count 1. Count 2, I'm going to reduce to $100.
Count two was reduced.
All right, please tell me your name.
Laura Hurst.
Ms. Hurst, you're here in 2019 CF 9740. You're arrested pursuant to a warrant, which probable cause has been found for failing to report within 30 days as a transient sexual offender. I'm going to appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you. You do have reporting requirements. Your bond is set at $10,000 in the warrant. I'm going to stay that. Do we have an updated face sheet for Mr. Live? I don't know if there's anything or if it's just nothing. Okay. Thank you. I just want to make sure. All right, please tell me your name, sir.
Trevion Live.
Mr. Lyde, you're here in 2019 CF 9819. You're arrested pursuant to a warrant in which probable cause was found for carjacking with a firearm. And I do find probable cause. I am gonna appoint the public defenders in that case. I'm gonna come back to that. 2019 CF 5127AO, you're arrested pursuant to a warrant which probable cause has been found for burglary of a conveyance and petty theft. I'm gonna appoint the public defender in that case as well. In 2019 CF 9878, you were arrested pursuant to a warrant which probable cause was found. That was for grand theft third degree. And I'm gonna appoint the public defender in that case. In 9878, your bond will stay at $3,500, and you're not to have any contact with any listed victim or witness in the case, and you're not to return back. To the scene of the offense. I'm not sure if that's the 7623 East Colonial Drive. That's the address that's listed in here. In 2019 CF 5127AO, your bonds will stay set at the $1,500 on count 1 and $150 on count 2. You're not to have any contact with any listed victim or witness or Brian Moody, that's a witness. You're not to return back to Jiffy Lube at 4531 Conroy Road. I believe I said not to have any contact with any listed victims or witnesses there. And then 2019 CF 9819 is the carjacking with a firearm. That's, I believe, a PBL. And then state, did you want to be heard as to bond?
Yes, Your Honor. The state would ask the court to take into consideration the affidavit for the arrest warrant, which is a sworn document, which contains an identifiable witness who subsequently identifies Mr. Lyde as the individual who did, with a gun, hit him in the head and steal his vehicle. The state would ask that the court find that proof is evident based on the facts contained within that sworn affidavit and hold Mr. Lyde at no bond in this matter. And that would be pursuant to Arthur Castro and their progeny, Your Honor.
Mr. Jordan, any argument?
Yes, Your Honor. Based on the police report, the identification as the defendant, as the suspect in this case, is based on a simple lineup done by the alleged victim who had no prior knowledge or familiarity with the defendant's identity. The specifics of the given by the alleged victim prior to the lineup was not provided or mentioned in the report as to give weight to its implication as evidence against the defendant in this case. No statements made by the defendant to either implicate him or exclude him from suspicion were mentioned in the report. This is simply on a lineup with a single alleged victim who suffered head
Well,
trauma.
it's not simply based on just the lineup. They were able to use the phone number and link him to an individual, and he was at that individual's house, at which time law enforcement then completed a lineup and the
And
victim identified him.
But the person
You missed
who was
that part.
registered to the phone, the person
Right.
who was registered to the phone,
Right.
was not listed in the lineup, and his description as to differentiate the owner of the phone from the current defendant was
Do you
not
know that
mentioned.
he wasn't listed in the lineup?
It does not, the police report does not mention
Okay.
that the person who
Okay,
owned
so
the phone
you're
was in the
assuming a
lineup.
fact.
I'm stating that if that is not the case, it is not mentioned in the report.
Okay, that, but you said that he wasn't in the lineup, and not that the report says that he's not in the, do you understand what I'm saying?
I understand.
Okay, so, were it just based on just the lineup, but not the connection with the phone number, and then him actually being at that residence, and then, having that connection to the phone number and the individual with the phone number, I do find the proof evident presumption great. And I am gonna hold him at no bond. There's no contact with any victim, witness, no weapons, no firearms, or any ammunition. And he's not to return back to 3672 Baronet Barontette Drive. And I think those are the only conditions, okay?
Right now, you're being held no bond on your carjacking case? Yep.
All right, please tell me your name.
Azaria McLeod.
All right, Ms. McLeod, you're here in 2019 CF 1359AO. You were arrested pursuant to a capias for failing to appear for case management on June 28, 2019. The judge forfeited your bond and then reset your bond at $5,000. Does she have a PD? You do have the public defender's office.
So you do have a bond of $5,000. Are you gonna be able to bond it? I can get you in front of the judge to try to change that bond, but you need to talk to them, right? I'll get in touch with them too.
We're doing it here.
Yes.
Yeah. All right, please tell me your name, sir.
George McCray.
All right, Mr. McCray, you're here in 2019 CF 9877AO. You're arrested for driving while license suspended as a habitual traffic offender. I do find probable cause. I'm gonna appoint the public defender's office to represent you. You're not to drive without a valid license. I'm gonna place you in the pretrial release program. You need to make sure that you follow all their requirements, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
So that includes, don't drive without a valid license.
Yes, ma'am.
Morning, how are you? Can you just, tell me your name and if you, have you been sworn in?
I have this one already.
Okay,
From Stanford, nationally certified.
okay, thank you so much. All right. And can you please tell me your name, sir?
1 second, Your Honor.
Is-
Oh, sorry.
Carlos. M. Period. L. E. O. N. That's it.
All right.
Oh, well, really, my full name, last name is G. New. Guzman. Guzman.
All right, Mr. Guzman, you're here in 2019 MM 5584AO. You were arrested for trespass on property after warning. I do find probable cause for the offense. I'm gonna appoint the public defender's office to represent you. You're not to return back. To 55 West Church Street. Or have anyone, or contact anyone, excuse me, at that location. You're to abide by all trespass warnings. Your bond is stayed at $500. You're out on bond in 2019 MM 4729AO for a violation of a domestic injunction. I'm revoking the bond and setting it at none. And does he have the PD on that case? And so your attorneys can file any appropriate motions for purposes of bond in that case. I appointed the PD, yeah. Thank you. Thank you. All right, please tell me your name, sir.
Christian Million.
Mr. Milan, you're here in 2019 CF 9852AO. You're arrested for armed burglary of a dwelling with a firearm, grand theft third degree of motor vehicle, and carrying a concealed firearm. I see probable cause for count 3, but I don't have any facts or anything relating to counts 1 or 2. I think we're missing a bunch of the supplemental reports.
Yes, Your
But I-
Honor, and the state would ask for 24 hours. I have not had a chance to start this process yet.
Okay, so at this time, the bond's 0 on count 1. I'm gonna give the state the 24 hours to give me probable cause for counts 1 and 2. I do find probable cause for count 3 based on what's in the affidavit, so I'm gonna just stay that bond at the 150, and the conditions for that are no weapons or firearms or any ammunition, no contact with any victim witness, and, so that's all I really know at this point.
Is Your Honor changing the bond set and count 1?
No, the state gets 24 hours.
Right now, you can have the bond.
So
I can't get released from this part there.
No, you may not. Right now, the police report only mentions count 3, doesn't mention anything about count number 2. The state's gonna have a 24-hour receipt. So the judge isn't gonna make a decision on count 1. Tomorrow, and then hopefully we'll be able to get your bond account off.
All right, please tell me your name.
Alice Morales.
All right, Ms. Morales, we're here in 2019 CF 9881AO. You're arrested for aggravating or fleeing and eluding with injury or damage, grand theft, third degree of a motor vehicle, criminal mischief over 1,000, possession of drug paraphernalia, and no valid driver's license. And there is probable cause for the offenses. I am gonna appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you. You're not to have any contact with any listed victim or witness. You're not to possess or consume any illegal substances without a valid prescription. You're not to drive without a valid license. Your bond on count 1 will be $15,000. Your bond will be $150 on count 2, $150 on count 3, $100 on count 4, and $100 on count 5.
She said a bond on count 1 and reduce the bond to all.
Please tell me your name, sir. Tell me your name.
Franklin Morgan. Good morning, Your Honor.
All right, good morning, Mr. Morgan. You're here in 2019 CF 9879AO. You're arrested for 2 counts of aggravated battery. One is aggravated battery with a weapon, one's aggravated battery with a deadly weapon. He gets the same thing. Same
There are
statute.
two
Same
victims,
stat.
Your
It's
Honor.
the same. Yeah, it's the same stat. It's the same statute, but there's, for whatever reason, there's a -11 on the first count, so it somehow probably changed it in the system. I do find probable cause. I'm gonna appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you. You're not to possess any weapons, any firearms, or any ammunition. You're not to have any contact with any victims in the case, the 2 victims in the case, no contact with them. And I am gonna stay the bonds on each count at $5,000.
Sure.
Thank you, Your Honor.
And he does have an immigration hold. Mr. Jordan, he has an immigration hold. Okay?
Tell your wife to make sure they don't come in anymore. Change the locks, do what you can. You're not getting released though, because you have an immigration hold. I can't tell you what's going on with that, because I'm with the state. Alright. Let you go, or they could do something worse. You have any questions?
Please tell me your name, sir.
Jacob Mound.
All right, Mr. Mound, you're here in 2019 CF 9872. You're arrested pursuant to a warrant, which probable cause was found for burglary of a structure, criminal mischief, and petty theft. I'm gonna appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you. You're not to return back to 400 West Livingston Street, the Marriott Bonvoy. You're not to have any contact with any listed victim or witness at that location, and the bonds will stay at 1,500 on count 1 and 100 on counts 2 and 3.
Sir, do you have any questions?
Yes, is there a copy of the arrest paperwork? I was never given anything.
tell me your name, ma'am.
Jennifer Tabor.
All right, Ms. Tabor, you're here in 2019 CF 9875AO. You're arrested for possession of cocaine. I do find probable cause. I'm gonna appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you. I'm gonna place you in the pretrial release program. You need to make sure that you follow all of their requirements, okay? No drugs without a valid prescription, okay?
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, please tell me your name, sir.
Bruce Taylor.
All right, Mr. Taylor, you're here in 2019 CF 9884AL. You're arrested for robbery, sudden snatching, petty theft, 2 prior convictions, and resisting an officer without violence. I do find probable cause. I'm gonna appoint the public defender. You can't go back to Steinmart at 2530 East Colonial Drive or have any contact with any listed victim or witness at that location. No weapons or firearms or any ammunition. And I'm gonna stay the bond at 1,000 on count 1, 150 on count 2, and 100 on count 3.
Looks like PTR does not. PTR tells us that.
All right, please tell me your name, sir.
Stephen Browning.
All right, Mr. Browning, you're here in 2019 MO 1289. You're arrested for camping in a prohibited place, and there is probable cause. You did not fill out a form for the PD. Do you want to see if the state has an offer to resolve your case today?
Please.
Okay.
Yes, Your Honor, the offer is an adjudication of guilt, 4 days Orange County Jail, 2 days credit time served, and court costs.
I'm sorry, I was reading something. Could you say
4
what the-
days,
4
2 days,
Okay, thank you.
and court costs.
Okay, thank you. You want to accept that offer, Mr. Browning?
That's fine.
Okay, I think that would get you out tomorrow.
Okay, thank you.
And Your Honor, I apologize, may I have the last 4 numbers on the case?
1289.
Thank you.
All right, Mr. Browning, I'm showing you this plea form. Is this your signature at the bottom?
Did you sign it?
Yeah, pretty sure. I can't see from here.
Okay, it's the same form that they just brought up to me that was in front of you.
Okay.
Do you-
Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Did you understand everything that was contained within the plea form?
Yes,
Do you understand all the rights you're giving up by entering the plea?
sure.
Are you
Yes,
on,
ma'am.
yes? Is that a yes?
Yes.
Are you on probation anywhere?
No.
Do you understand if you're not a U.S. citizen, the plea will subject you to deportation?
Yes.
All right. I do find a factual basis based on the affidavit to accept your plea. I'm gonna adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 4 days in the Orange County Jail with credit for 2 days' time served. I do have to impose court costs. I'm gonna order you pay those by July 11th, 2020, okay? That gives you a year to pay them off. If you want to appeal the judgment and sentence of the court, you must do so in writing within 30 days. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed for you, all right? Good luck to you. Please tell me your name.
1 second, Jerome.
All right, tell me your name, sir. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, can you tell me your name?
Jephthah Clarence Burton.
All right, Mr. Burton, you're here in case number 2019 MO1290, and you're arrested for trespass. I do find probable cause, and you did not fill out a form for the public defender. Did you want to see if the state had an offer for you?
Yes.
Okay.
The offer is an adjudication of guilt, 4 days, Orange County Jail, 2 days, credit time served, no return to the Lake Eola Park, and court costs.
Okay, did you hear that?
Yes.
Okay, did you want to accept that offer, Mr. Burton?
You get out tomorrow.
You would get out tomorrow,
Yeah.
okay? You can't go back to Lake Eola.
I don't want to.
Okay, well, I wouldn't want to either, and they keep arresting you. It looks like you were arrested on July 8th for being there, and then you went back, so don't go back.
I didn't even know there was a trespassing on.
Okay, well, they've trespassed you. Thank you. All right, do you want to plead no contest, Mr. Burton?
Yes.
All right, I'm showing you this plea form. Is this your signature at the bottom?
Yes.
Did you understand everything contained within the plea form?
Yes,
Do you
ma'am.
understand all the rights you're giving up by entering the plea?
Yes.
Are you on probation anywhere?
No.
All right, you understand if you're not a U.S. citizen, the plea will subject you to deportation. If you're not a U.S. citizen, the plea will subject you to deportation. Do you understand? Are you a U.S. citizen?
Excuse me?
Are you a U.S. citizen?
I was in the Army.
Okay, so you're a U.S. citizen?
Yeah.
Okay, do you understand that if you're not a U.S. citizen, the plea will subject you to deportation? You understand? Okay, you're a U.S. citizen, so I don't think that would apply to you, but I have to advise you of that, okay? And I have to make sure you understand. All right, I do find a factual basis to accept your plea. I am gonna adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 4 days in the Orange County Jail with credit for 2 days' time served. As we discussed, you can't go back to Lake Eola, okay? So don't go back there. You've been trespassed. You have to abide by those trespass warnings. I have to impose court costs. I'm gonna order you pay those by July 11, 2020. If you want to appeal the judgment and sentence of the court, you must do so in writing within 30 days. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed for you. All right, sir, good luck to you.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right, please tell me your name.
Good morning, Judge.
Morning. Are you Mr. Newsome?
Ma'am?
Newsome? Jerry?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Mr. Newsome, you're here in 2019 MO12. Can you hear me now?
Yes,
Is
ma'am.
that better? Okay, you're here in 19 MO1291. You were arrested for an open container violation. I do find probable cause. You did not fill out a form for the public defender. Did you want to see if the state had an offer for you to resolve your case today?
I would, ma'am.
Okay.
The offer is an adjudication of guilt, 4 days, Orange County Jail, 2 days, credit time served.
All right, that would get you out tomorrow, Mr. Newsome, if you want to accept the offer.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, Mr. Newsom, I'm showing you this plea form. Is this your signature at the bottom?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand everything contained within the plea form?
I did, ma'am.
You understand all the rights you're giving up by entering the plea?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you on probation anywhere?
No, ma'am.
Okay, you understand if you're not a U.S. citizen, the plea will subject you to deportation?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I do find a factual basis based on the affidavit in the court file to accept your plea. I'm gonna adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 4 days in the Orange County Jail with credit for 2 days' time served. And I'm gonna order that you pay your court costs by July 11th, 2020, okay? If you wanna appeal the judgment and sentence of the court, you must do so in writing within 30 days. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed for you. Good
Yes,
luck.
Your Honor.
All right, have a good day, Mr. Newsom.
Thank you.
All right, please tell me your name.
Robert Falua.
All right, Mr. Falua, you're here in 2019 MM 5791AO. You were arrested for petty theft. I do find probable cause. I'm gonna appoint the public defender's office to represent you. Was there an offer for Mr. Falua?
Yes, Your Honor, it's an adjudication of guilt, 7 days, Orange County Jail, 2 days credit time served, no return to the publics, abide by all trespass warnings, and I believe everything was
And then if-
recovered and none of it was perishable.
Okay. And, Mr. Jordan, if he does wanna accept that offer, if you could just explain to him the enhancements.
Sure.
It looks like he has a bunch of theft convictions already, so so it may benefit him to take a plea.
Yes, sir. So, Your Honor, this will be a plea of no contest.
Okay. Thank you. All right, Mr. Falua, I'm showing you this plea form. Is this your signature at the bottom?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand everything contained within the plea form?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you understand all the rights you're giving up by entering the plea?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you on probation anywhere?
No.
Okay, you understand if you're not a U.S. citizen, the plea will subject you to deportation?
Yes.
Okay. I do find a factual basis to accept your plea based on the affidavit in the court file. I'm gonna adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 7 days in the Orange County Jail with credit for 2 days' time served. Can't go back to the Publix at 400 East Central Boulevard in Orlando, Florida. You must abide by any trespass warnings. I do have to impose court costs. I'm gonna order you pay those by July 11th, 2020, okay? If you want to appeal the judgment and sentence of the court, you must do so in writing within 30 days. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed for you. All right, good luck
Yes,
to
ma'am.
you. All right, please tell me your name.
Victor Whitaker, ma'am.
We know what is Pacheco?
Jacob was pretrial release, Your Honor.
Okay. And then Wakely? Are you Mr. Wakely?
Whitaker.
Oh, okay. I have Mr. Wakely.
Wakely's in the hospital, Your Honor.
Okay, we'll reset him within 24 hours of his release. All right, Mr. Whitaker,
Yes, ma'am.
you're here in 2019 MM 5794AO. You're arrested for petty theft. I do find probable cause. I'm gonna appoint the public defender's office to represent you. Ms. Bush, was there an offer for Mr. Whitaker?
Yes, Your Honor, I just needed to be sure that everything was recovered. It would be an adjudication of guilt, 7 days Orange County Jail, 2 days credit time served, no return to 880 West Sand Lake Road, the target there, and abide by all trespass warnings and court costs.
And And then,
And it does appear that he has multiple prior.
correct, yeah.
Your Honor, this will be a plea of no contest after
Okay.
speaking with my client.
And you did explain the enhancements, I mean,
Yes,
he
Your
has prior, so I'm sure he's aware, but, just so he is aware for purposes of this plea.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Thank you. All right, Mr. Whitaker, I'm showing you this plea form. Is this your signature at the bottom?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand everything contained within the plea form?
Yes, ma'am.
You understand all the rights you're giving up by entering the plea?
Yes.
Are you on probation anywhere?
No, ma'am.
Okay, you understand if you're not a US citizen, the plea will subject you to deportation?
Yes.
Okay. I do find a factual basis based on the affidavit to accept your plea. I'm gonna adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 7 days in the Orange County Jail with credit for 2 days' time served. You can't go back to 880 West Sand Lake Road, that target. You must abide by any trespass warnings. And I do have to impose court costs. I'm gonna order that you pay those by July 11th, 2020, okay? Gives you a year to pay them off. If you want to appeal the judgment and sentence of the court, you must do so in writing within 30 days. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed for you. All right, sir? Good luck
Yes,
to
ma'am.
you. All right, please tell me your name, sir.
Christopher Evans?
All right, Mr. D'Souza,
Spanish interpreter.
okay? Mr. Evans, is that what you said? Okay. All right, Mr. Evans, you're picked up on an out-of-county warrant out of Seminole County. And it appears as though the bond in that case is set at none, and Seminole County has 24 hours to come and pick you up, okay?
24 hours?
That doesn't include the weekends, or holidays, but I don't think that that would affect, okay? Please tell me your name.
Armando Fernandez.
All right, Mr. Fernandez, you're here. You were picked up on an out-of-county warrant. Looks like 2 out-of-county warrants, one out of Polk County. And, excuse me, looks like the Polk County, count 1 is no bond. And then you do have bonds, on count 2 at 2,000, count 3, 10,000, count 4, 2,000, count 5, 2,000, and count 6, $40,000. And so Polk County, I don't know who will pick you up I don't know how that works. Polk will pick them up? Okay, so Polk has 24 hours to come and pick you up. And then, the other warrant that you were picked up on is out of Hillsborough County. And it looks like you do have bonds in that case as well, 4,000 on count 1 and 7,500 on count 2. So if Polk County doesn't pick him up within 24 hours, then Hillsborough has 72 hours, not including the weekends or any holidays, okay, to come and pick you up. But the only case that you don't have a bond on count 1 in the Polk County case, okay? So you can't technically bond out, okay, on that, all right? All right, please tell me your name.
Robin Legus.
All right, Ms. Legus, you're hearing, on a out-of-county warrant out of Seminole County. And it looks like the judge in that case has set your bond at none. And Seminole County has 24 hours to come and pick you up, okay? That does not include the weekends, but I don't think that will affect you. Okay, thank you. All right, please tell me your name, sir.
Michael Mitchell.
All right, Mr. Midgley, you're here on an out-of-county warrant out of Seminole County, and your bond is set at none. And Seminole County has 24 hours to come and pick you up, okay? And you do have reporting requirements.
Sorry?
You do have reporting requirements pursuant to prior criminal history. You have
Reporting?
to register.
Oh, yes,
Yeah,
ma'am.
those are
Sorry.
your reporting requirements, okay?
So do I do that?
I have to advise you of that. I don't know if Mr. Jordan can explain more about that.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, please tell me your name, ma'am.
Emily Silvers.
All right, Ms. Subers, you're here on an out-of-county warrant out of Polk County, and your bond is set at $500. And so if you can bond out, you can bond out. If not, Polk County has 24 hours to come in and pick you up, okay?
Okay, so I can bond out then?
Yeah, you do have a bond. It's $500.
Okay, thank you.
All right, please tell me your name, sir.
Juan Adorno.
And Your Honor,
I don't have.
may I approach? This is
Oh,
the receipt.
Mr. Hagable?
Mr. Huggable is a refusal, Your Honor.
Okay. Well, I'll deal, he's been reset multiple times, so I'm gonna deal with him too at the end here. Are we on an add-on?
This is Mr. Adorno Morales, Your Honor.
Oh, okay.
May I approach?
I'm sorry, I didn't recognize him.
May I
Sure.
approach with the probable cause document?
Okay. I'm gonna need a minute. Have you, and Mr. Jordan, you got a copy too?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. So we'll all need a moment to review this real quickly. aforementioned bag was a mixture of baggies listed below. Okay, so I understand. So there's delineating one baggie 4 grams fentanyl, 3 grams heroin, and another baggie 4.68 grams heroin, and then 4.71 grams of heroin. And then 3 clear bags of heroin, and then weighing those. Okay, I get it. All right. And then okay, I do find probable cause. Mr. Jordan, did you have any? Have you finished reading?
My only criticism would be it is unclear whether the first baggie of suspected heroin was the only baggie tested, or the officer simply mentioned the fact that the heroin had been tested and then began to list the different amounts in the bags. As it says, after the first 3 grams of heroin.
Okay, I mean,
That's it.
well, we can.
That's it.
I mean, we can hold him.
No, I think that's just a criticism. I still think it's fine.
And, Your Honor, within the 4 corners of the
Yeah.
affidavit, the deputy clearly tested the.
Right. I was just trying to figure out, like, it was just worded weird for me,
Yes.
and then I
And I
read
think
it
the-
again, and it made more sense. Okay.
I think my issue is the formatting alone.
Yeah. So I do find probable cause, and I believe the issue was as to everything. Okay, I was confusing it with another case. So I find probable cause for counts 1, 2, 3, and 4. And I did already appoint the public defender's office. And count 1 is a corrected bond at $100,000. That will stay. And each additional count I'll keep as a subsidiary at $150,000. There's to be no contact with the co-defendant, Mr. Diglio, and no weapons or firearms or any ammunition, no drugs without a valid prescription, okay?
Sir.
All right, and then I'm gonna address these other individuals. Mr. Graves, that was 2019 CF 4811AO. I believe he refused to come to court. Is that correct?
Right.
Okay, so, does he have the public defender? He does have the public defender's office, and he was arrested pursuant to a capias for failing to appear for case management or trial management conference on July 3rd, 2019. The judge revoked his release, revoked his bond, and set it at none, and so that will stay at no bond. And then Mr. White, 2019 MM 5792AO. Was that a refusal?
Also,
Okay, and so Mr. White refused to come to court today, and he's charged in 2019 MM 5792. I'm gonna appoint the public defender's office to represent him, and he's arrested for trespass on property after warning. I do find probable cause. And his bond will stay at the $500. He's not to return back, sorry, to Walgreens at 2420 East Colonial Drive. He's not to have any contact with any listed victim or witness, and he's to abide by all trespass warnings. And last is Mr. Hagabuk. Is that also, was that a refusal?
Refusal.
Okay, and this has been reset multiple times. contact since appears the 8th.
Yes, sir.
So, Mr. Hugabluk is arrested in 2019 MM 5644AO for possession of drug paraphernalia and petty theft. There is probable cause, and I am gonna appoint the public defender's office to represent him. He, as we said before, refused to come to court. I'm gonna stay the bond on count 1 at 500. I'm gonna reduce count 2 to 100, and he's not to return back to the Family Dollar at 1340 West 4th Street. He's not to have any contact with any listed victim or witness there, and he's not to possess or consume any illegal substances without a valid prescription. I'm not gonna take any action on the out on release case 2019 MM 2477AO at this time, okay?
Thank you, Your
Huh? He waived his own appearance.
If she's up to it.
Well, we still got 30.
I don't know, I was looking at you guys, looking at me like you had something to say, and
No, we were going to approach to see if the court was willing to do a move up for courtroom 1. There's 10.
oh, I mean, as long as I can go read them real quick.
And that was our
then-
concern, you have to do a lot of reading today, so.
Well, I mean, we're
There's
getting
10
out
cases.
here, I'm trying to figure that out, okay. Do we know how many DVs we have and huh?
I'm not sure how many Spanish. We have 2 Creole and 2 Spanish.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, that's fine if once we get through with this, I think that I can go back there and probably take me like 15 or 20 minutes to read through those, depending on what they are. I don't know what they are. I mean, if there's ones, okay, so there's 2 PBLs, okay.
30 minutes?
Yeah, that's fine, and then I think we'll be done by noon, and then that will give me an hour to review everything for 1 o'clock. We may start a little late, I don't know, but, okay? Does that work for everybody? Okay, I just wanna give everybody an opportunity to eat lunch, and
I don't eat lunch or breakfast.
I don't eat lunch ever either, so it's not really an issue for me, but
And if I
the
do-
court personnel deserves to eat lunch, so.
Oh, yes, sorry, all right.
Yeah, we have to think about them, Mr. Jordan. We don't get lunch, but they
We
do.
do.
We're okay.
Okay, all right. Everybody wants to do a move up? Okay, that's fine. I'm fine with that, as long as Mr. Jordan has an opportunity to talk with everybody.
Yes, and I think that would give me an appropriate amount of time to review and talk.
Okay, all right, so we're ready for the 33-day motions?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, 2019 CF 6207AO, Candido Enrique Ruiz Lopez. Looks like an information was
And
filed.
Information was filed on 7/10. Filing ID is 92350464.
All right, that will be denied. 2019 CF 7130AO, Ronnie Tavares Baker.
A notice of non-filing on July 10th.
So that will be granted. Okay, I have 3 cases on the same order for Mr. William Carteris, yes, Jr. Is there a way that you can, because it looks like,
There were 2 notices of non-filing and 1 information.
Yeah, so I'm gonna need
Yeah.
separate orders for these, Mr. Jordan.
Understand? I'll look into that.
So,
I'm not sure
in,
who provides those normally.
so 2009, I'll give you the case numbers.
I have the case numbers.
Okay, 2019 CF 7736AO.
And information was filed on July 10th.
Yeah, and information was filed, so that will be denied when I get a written order. And then 2019 CF 7751AO.
Notice of non-filing on July 10th.
Okay, that will be granted when I get a written order. In 2019 CF 7752AO.
A notice of non-filing on July 10th.
So that will be granted when I get a written order, okay? What I'm gonna do is, I'm just gonna cross out, I'm gonna keep this one for the, granted one. Or there's 2 that are granted. I'll deny the info that was filed, so just give me an order for 7751 and 7752, Mr. Jordan.
Yes, sir.
I'll keep 7736, which is the first case on this one. And, that will be denied because an information was filed, okay? Okay, 2019 MM 4805AO, John Michael Biltheimer.
A notice of non-filing on July 10th.
That will be granted. 2019 CF 8285AO, Anthony P. Back.
A notice of non-filing on July 10th.
That will be granted. 2019 CF 8061AO, Andrew Kamanzi.
And information was filed on July 10th. Filing ID is 92334657.
That will be denied. 2019 CF 8282AO, Theodis Chandrell May.
A notice of non-filing on July 9th.
That will be granted. 2019 CF 1013AO, Darius Dion Williams.
A no information notice on July 1st.
That will be granted. Excuse me. So, Mr. Jordan, can you just bring those with you so that I can, or
Yes,
you
Your
can email them to my JA and she'll print them out and. Okay, anything else? And then we'll be back here in half an hour. Is that what you want? Is that enough
11:30.
time for you?
Yes, 11:30.
Okay, all right. We'll be in recess till
Grab
then.
this, we got-
All right, we're back on the record. And this is session 2, Judge Wish, courtroom 1. Can I have the parties announce themselves for the record, please?
Good morning, Edith Bush for the Office of the State Attorney.
Good morning, Your Honor. Cody Jordan with the Public Defender's Office. I also have the modified orders.
Okay, yeah,
May I approach?
that's fine, sure. And they were both granted, correct? Because I denied the other one.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. That's fine, that's fine. All right, please tell me your name, sir.
Yareem Barnes.
All right, Mr. Barnes, you're here in 2019 CF 9896AO. You're arrested for possession of cannabis, more than 20 grams, possession of tetrahydrocannabinols, and possession of a controlled substance. I do find probable cause. I'm going to appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you. Excuse me. I'm gonna stay the bond at 1,000 on count 1, 150 on counts 2 and 3, or not to possess or consume any illegal substances without a valid prescription.
Sir, do you have any questions?
Oh. No, I
You're
thought
gonna
I
be
could
able to
get
bond
the
out
big sheet.
today.
No.
Okay, okay.
Thank you, ma'am.
All right. And this one bonded out, Covey.
Bonded.
Okay, that's what I thought. It was just back in my stack again. So that they bonded. Can you tell me your name?
Sheila Mitchell.
Okay, Donna Scar,
Bonded, Your Honor.
bonded. Okay.
Still got more.
Jenkins bonded.
Yes.
Okay.
Metellus' behavior, Your Honor.
Okay. Behavior.
Yes,
Okay,
Your Honor.
we'll reset. They bonded, and then this is behavior. Miss Mitchell?
Yes.
Okay. Excuse me. All right, you're here in 2019 CF 9859AO. You were arrested pursuant to a warrant in which probable cause has been found for count 1, second-degree felony murder, and count 2, armed burglary of a dwelling with a battery therein. I think the affidavit on the front is just says conveyance, but it's a dwelling. And I'm gonna appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you. And Ms. Bush, I believe both of these are PBLs.
Yes, Your Honor. And the state would ask the court to find that proof is evident, presumption is great, and the state's request is based on the sworn affidavit to issue the arrest warrant. And in that sworn affidavit, there are verifiable witnesses, and verifiable witness was in a position to identify both Ms. Mitchell and Mr. Trimble. And the facts that are alleged in that sworn affidavit describe the robbery attempt and the attack on the victim. And the state would ask that the court find that proof is evident or presumption is great that Ms. Mitchell is one of the individuals that committed the robbery or the armed burglary of the dwelling, and subsequently the party that was with them committing that crime ended up getting killed in this matter. The state would ask that the court hold Ms. Mitchell at no bond on both counts.
All right, Mr. Jordan?
Your Honor, we do not believe the proof is evident that a presumption is great in this case. The sole witness to the alleged burglary, the sole witness to the alleged felony murder that took place in the alleged victim's bedroom is the alleged victim, despite noting in the report that it was a group home. The police were not able to identify any witness other than the alleged victim, except for Mr. Brown, who was a neighbor and did not witness the entire event and only witnessed happenings outside of the alleged residence where the fight took place or allegedly took place. Given the fact that this is relying on a single witness, we do not believe it rises to the foundation of presumption great or proof evident.
Okay, I disagree, and specifically, Mr. Brown's testimony that the individual, the male, said, come with me, just come with me now, or I'm going to kill you, as well as the fact that a stun gun was found in the home, the knife was found, that Miss Noster, had indicated that he had used to attack her. Ms. Noster was completely cooperative with law enforcement, giving them, access to the home, access to her DNA, access to all the evidence that they would need in the case. Mr. Brown's testimony, I believe, also corroborates her testimony. Individuals fled other than Ms. Noster. So I do find proof evident presumption great, and I am gonna hold her at no bond. These are the conditions of the release, which there are none at this time, but should another court decide to give her a bond, she's not to have any contact with the deceased victim's family, victim Penny Noster, her co-defendant, Mr. I believe, is it Mitchell? Mr. Mitchell, Mr. Brown, the witness, no weapons, no firearms, no ammunition, and and she's not to go back to 1505 South Central Avenue. Not to possess any drugs or alcohol or any illegal substances without a valid prescription. That's
Thank
it?
you.
Yep. All right, please tell me your name.
Christy Pribble.
Ms. Pribble, you're here in 2019 CF 9899AO. You're arrested for grand theft, third degree of a motor vehicle. I do find probable cause. I am going to appoint the public defender's office to represent you, not to have any contact with any listed victim or witness in the case. And I am going to stay the bond at $1,000.
Does she not qualify for pretrial release?
Showing no.
No, I'm sorry, no. So they're telling me no.
All right, please tell me your name, sir.
Christian Razzo,
Mr. Razzo, you're here in 2019 CF 9891AO. You're arrested for possession of cannabis more than 20 grams, possession with intent to sell or deliver, and possession of drug paraphernalia. I do find probable cause. I am going to appoint the public defender's office to represent you, not to possess or consume any illegal substances without a valid prescription. Your bond on count one, I'm gonna reduce to 150. Bond on count two is gonna be 2,500, and count three will remain at 100. And I believe you're not on probation anymore.
No.
I have a note that indicates in an order that granted your early termination on the 26th of June, so there shouldn't be anything else holding you, okay? Okay, oh, I don't have that. Oh, I do, sorry, I didn't see it. So, I am gonna ROR him on that, or just dismiss, or ROR, whatever it might be, but I don't think the probation officer could file any BOP on that, okay?
thank you, ma'am.
All right, please tell me your name.
T. Robinson.
Mr. Robinson, you're here in 2019 CF 989 AO. You're arrested for battery on a law enforcement officer, tampering with physical evidence, and possession of drug paraphernalia. I do find probable cause. I'm going to appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you. You're not to possess any weapons or firearms or any ammunition. You're not to have any contact with the victim, and you're not to possess or consume any illegal substances without a valid prescription. Your bond on count 1 will stay at $2,500. It'll be $150 on count 2 and $100 on count 3. All right, can you tell me your name, sir?
James Smith.
All right, Mr. Smith, you're here in 2019 CF 9905 AO. You're arrested for trafficking in methamphetamines, possession of methamphetamine, fraudulent use of identification of a person over 60 years of age. And possession of drug paraphernalia. I don't know if they just put the wrong statute in there. Do we have evidence that Mr. Oh, it does, okay. At the time of this incident, he was over the age of 60. Okay. So there is probable cause for the offenses. I'm gonna appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you, not to possess any any drugs or alcohol or any illegal substances without a valid prescription. You're not to have any contact with any victim or witness in the case. You're not to return to 8623 Vineland Avenue, that Fairfield Inn. And your bond will stay at $100,000 on count 1, $150 on counts 2 and 3, and $100 on count 4. And you're out on bond for methamphetamine. And I'm gonna revoke the bond or the release in that case. Looks like the state did file that information. Excuse me. 2018 CF 16164 AO, and I'm going to appoint the public defender in that case.
I didn't see.
They can file any appropriate motions for you in that case.
Sorry. Notice that you didn't have no bond. So we're going on this one. So get game time.
Please tell me your name.
Stephen Trimble.
Mr. Trimble, you're here in 2019 CF 9858 AO. You're arrested pursuant to a warrant which probable cause was found for second-degree felony murder and armed burglary of a dwelling with a battery. And I'm gonna appoint, you do not qualify for the public defender, but we'll deal with that in a second. Ms. Bush, again, this is the co-defendant.
Yes, Your Honor, and the state's going to request the court, based on the affidavit, to issue the arrest warrant, find that proof is evident or presumption is great, as that sworn affidavit does contain statements from identifiable victims and witnesses, and it also contains forensic evidence that supports the fact that Mr. Trimble was one of the individuals that did burglarize the victim's home, committed a battery therein, and as a result of that burglary and attack on the victim, one of their co-defendants was killed in this matter, and that person is now dead.
All right, Mr. Jordan, I'm gonna have the same response as to,
Yes, I would make the same arguments as a friend of the court, but defer to the court as
I would be
decision.
careful about making certain arguments because you may be waiving some Arthur hearings downtown if you
Well, I
make those
believe,
arguments.
I believe.
I'm just letting you know that that's possible.
Okay.
So, I am gonna order him to be held at no bond. I do find proof evident presumption great for the same reasons as I stated before on the record for, the co-defendant. That was
Ms. Mitchell?
Miss Mitchell. He's not to return to the victim's residence at 1505 South Central Avenue. He's not to possess any weapons or firearms or any ammunition. He's not to have any contact with the deceased victim's family or Penny Noster, that victim, or the co-defendant, or the victim, Mr. Brown.
Your Honor? After speaking with the defendant, he informs me he no longer has a job or employment.
Right, I'm gonna appoint the public defender.
Okay.
So, and no weapons or firearms or any ammunition, so the same conditions for this defendant as for the co-defendant, Ms. Mitchell. All right, please tell me your name.
George Boyd.
Mr. Boyd, you're here in 2019 MM 5800AO. You're arrested for resisting an officer without violence. I do find probable cause. I'm gonna appoint the public defender's office. Was there an offer for Mr. Boyd?
Yes, Your Honor, adjudication of guilt, 15 days Orange County Jail, 2 days credit time served, and court costs.
All right, if Mr. Boyd doesn't wanna accept the offer, I'll just stay the bond.
I'm sorry.
He doesn't have to take the you don't have to take the offer, but I'll stay the bond at 500 if you don't want the offer, okay?
It's either you take the offer, or you can, you don't have to take the offer. I wouldn't plead to something that.
All right, Mr. Boyd, I need to
Yes,
know
ma'am.
what you wanna do. So I'll stay the bond, or you can accept the offer, it's really up to you.
I'll accept the offer.
Huh?
I'll accept your offer.
You want to accept the offer? Okay, well, you look like you don't know what you want to do, so I need to,
Yes, ma'am.
I need to make sure that you know that you want to do that.
Can I have less? It's like my first time out. Is it possible?
That's it's the state's offer, so I mean, if Mr. Jordan wants to try and negotiate with the state, but
John, I'll take a moment to talk to the state. Your Honor, we'll keep the bond at this time.
okay, also stay the bond at the $500.
Your attorney can file a motion to try to get you out of
I don't have that one.
You do now.
Excellent.
Sure. I'll give you some information.
All right. We'll be in recess until tomorrow in this courtroom,